Picture this. You're walking through a dense forest when suddenly you hear it. The bone-chilling screech of ancient wood grinding against bone. The sickening crack of chicken legs stepping through undergrowth. The infamous hut on chicken legs is moving through the forest, and inside sits the most contradictory figure in all of mythology. But here's what will blow your mind. This terrifying witch who supposedly devours children has also saved more heroes than any fairy godmother ever did. How is it possible that the same character can both help a brave princess and throw kids into her oven? This paradox has puzzled people for centuries, and today we're about to uncover the shocking truth. From ancient Slavic forests to modern TikTok trends, Baba Yaga has become more than just a fairy tale villain. She's become a cultural phenomenon that reveals something profound about human nature itself. The name Baba Yaga holds secrets you wouldn't expect. While Baba translates to grandmother in Slavic tongues, Yaga traces back to ancient death deities, making her literally grandmother death. This wasn't just some spooky nickname. It was a title of genuine power. Archaeological excavations across Eastern Europe have revealed bone idols and clay figurines of skeletal women dating back over 1,000 years. These weren't decorative trinkets, mind you. They were protective talismans, proving our ancestors treated this witch with deadly seriousness. The earliest written records of Baba Yaga emerge in medieval Slavic texts, but here's the shocker. She wasn't always the child-threatening monster we recognize today. Initial sources describe her as a powerful entity controlling the threshold between life and death, more guide than villain. From Siberian tundra to Bulgarian peaks, every Slavic culture developed their own version of this iron-toothed sorceress. But why such universal belief in the same figure? The answer connects to something far more sinister than simple folklore. That legendary hut on chicken legs wasn't random architectural whimsy. Ancient Slavic burial customs involved building small wooden houses on stilts over grave sites. The chicken legs were stylized posts elevating these miniature death houses above ground. Baba Yaga's dwelling was essentially a mobile graveyard. In pre-Christian Slavic society, death represented transformation requiring guidance rather than mere ending. Baba Yaga served as the terrifying but essential psychopomp, the guide helping souls navigate from the living world to whatever lay beyond. Think cosmic border patrol between realms. As Christianity swept across Slavic territories, pagan death goddesses like Baba Yaga faced systematic demonization. What once commanded respect, if fearful, became reimagined as pure evil. This transformation explains her contradictory nature, helpful origins tangled with villainous reinterpretation. Different regions crafted completely unique versions of her legend. Russian Baba Yaga might assist heroes in finding magical treasures, while Polish Yaga focused on punishing wickedness. She adapted to represent whatever each culture most needed her to embody. Now let's examine why Baba Yaga appears so horrifying, because every gruesome detail was deliberately chosen. That infamous bone leg wasn't mere shock value. It symbolized her connection to the skeletal realm of the deceased. She literally kept one foot in our world, one in the next. Those iron teeth served multiple purposes beyond intimidation. Iron was considered powerful protection against evil spirits. But when wielded by a witch, it became a weapon capable of consuming souls themselves. And that enormous nose? In Slavic tradition, oversized noses indicated supernatural sensory powers. She could literally smell deception and hidden truths. Let's address the forest elephant, or rather, the chicken legs. That mobile hut wasn't just convenient transportation. It could rotate to face any direction, making it impossible for unwanted guests to locate the entrance unless Baba Yaga permitted it. Talk about ultimate home security. Flying in a mortar and pestle might seem absurd until you grasp the symbolism. These tools represented transformation, grinding herbs into medicines, seeds into flour, life into death. Her transportation literally symbolized her power to reshape reality itself. Her magical abilities transcended simple spellcasting. Whether bent to her will, She could summon blizzards or droughts with mere gestures. Transformation magic was her specialty, changing people into animals, objects, or sometimes making them vanish entirely. What truly distinguished her was dominion over wild creatures. Wolves, bears, and ravens served as her forest agents. Some tales suggest she could see through their eyes, making her aware of everything happening in her territory. Imagine having every woodland creature as personal surveillance. Perhaps most terrifying was her alleged ability to manipulate time itself. Heroes would spend apparent hours in her hut, only to emerge discovering years had passed. Others experienced the reverse, days of travel compressed into moments. Time became malleable clay in her presence. Her connection to the spirit world was absolute. She could commune with the dead, summon demons, and according to certain tales, even negotiate with death himself. But every power had limits. Running water could slow her. Protective prayers might shield the faithful, and iron objects sometimes bound her magic. Here's where Baba Yaga becomes absolutely fascinating and utterly bewildering. In some stories, she's roasting children in her oven. In others, she's distributing magical objects that save the day. So what gives? Was she evil or helpful? The answer is both, and that's precisely the point. Baba Yaga represented the ultimate test for anyone encountering her. She didn't help the pure-hearted or punish the wicked based on cosmic moral codes. Instead, she responded to how people treated her, what they offered, and crucially, how they approached her domain. Consider her the world's most dangerous customer service representative. Show up demanding assistance? You're probably becoming dinner. Arrive with respect, offer something valuable, prove your worth. She might just hand you the key to defeating your enemies. Successful heroes understood this fundamental rule. Her reputation as a magical gift-giver is legendary. Fire that never dies, horses outrunning wind, balls of thread showing the way home. Baba Yaga's gift shop surpassed any fairy godmother's inventory. But these presents always came with conditions and trials. Conversely, her reputation as a child consumer wasn't random cruelty. In folklore's symbolic language, consuming someone often represented complete transformation or initiation. Some scholars suggest these stories actually described spiritual death and rebirth, a terrifying but necessary growing-up process. As guardian of boundaries between worlds, Baba Yaga controlled who could pass from one realm to another. Heroes seeking to rescue princesses from death or retrieve magical objects from the other world had to get past her first. She was like the ultimate bouncer at the universe's most exclusive club. Her wisdom was unquestionable, but it demanded payment. She knew secrets solving any problem, but extracting that knowledge required courage, cleverness, and often willingness to risk everything. Think of her as the original high-risk, high-reward investment opportunity. The vengeful aspect of her nature was equally complex. Cross Baba Yaga, break her rules, or attempt to cheat her, and her revenge was swift and creative. But even her punishments often served greater purposes, teaching lessons about respect, consequences, and proper order. Let's explore some of the most famous encounters with our iron-toothed friend, starting with the tale that made her a household name, Vasilisa the Beautiful. This story perfectly captures Baba Yaga's test or destroy approach to visitors. When young Vasilisa arrives at the chicken-legged hut seeking fire, Baba Yaga doesn't simply hand over a match. Instead, she assigns impossible tasks, sort millions of seeds by type, clean years of accumulated grime, and cook enough food to feed an army, all in a single night. But here's the twist. Vasilisa passes every test through cleverness, respect, and magical doll assistance. The Ivan Tsarevich stories reveal a different side of Baba Yaga's character. When the prince comes seeking the legendary firebird, she doesn't test his worthiness through chores. Instead, she offers direct help, providing magical horses and insider information about locating his prize. Why different treatment? Ivan approaches her as an equal knowledge seeker rather than desperate supplicant. Then there's the genuinely disturbing tale of Maria Marevna, where Baba Yaga plays a more sinister role. Without graphic details, let's say this story demonstrates what happens when people try exploiting Baba Yaga's power for selfish ends rather than noble quests. But were these merely stories? Historical records from medieval Russia contain startling entries. Church documents mention encounters with the forest witch, and several chronicle entries describe what sound suspiciously like Baba Yaga sightings. Were these just superstitious peasants, or was something real happening in those deep forests? Even today, certain locations across Russia and Eastern Europe maintain associations with Baba Yaga legends. The village of Kukoboy in Russia actually claims to be her hometown and has built a tourist industry around it. Whether you believe the legends or not, the geographic consistency of these stories is remarkable. Family legends passed through generations often include Baba Yaga encounters. Grandparents would tell children about ancestors who supposedly met the witch, received her help, or barely escaped her wrath. These weren't just scary bedtime stories. They were presented as family history. So here's the million-dollar question. Was Baba Yaga ever real? Modern ethnographers and folklorists have fascinating theories about how this legend might have originated. And trust me, the truth is stranger than fiction. One compelling theory suggests Baba Yaga was based on actual people, specifically wise women living on ancient community edges. These were healers, midwives, and keepers of old knowledge who often lived alone in forest cabins. During times of social upheaval, such women could easily transform into figures of fear and suspicion. The psychological roots of Baba Yaga fear run deeper than simple monster stories. She represents something fundamental about human anxiety, terror of the unknown, fear of judgment, and simultaneous need for and rejection of feminine authority. No wonder this character has persisted for over 1,000 years. But here's where things get really interesting. People in the 21st century still claim to encounter Baba Yaga. Internet forums overflow with stories from hikers, campers, and rural residents who swear they've seen something matching her description. Coincidence? Mass hysteria? Or something else entirely? Certain locations in Russia and Eastern Europe have become known as anomalous zones where Baba Yaga sightings occur with unusual frequency. These areas often share similar characteristics: dense forests, magnetic anomalies, and histories of local folklore. Scientists have studied some locations, finding electromagnetic disturbances that could theoretically trigger hallucinations. Modern psychology offers several explanations for continued Baba Yaga encounters. Sleep deprivation, stress, and isolation can all trigger hallucinations matching cultural expectations. If you grow up hearing about iron-toothed witches, your brain might interpret ambiguous stimuli through that lens. However, some cases resist easy explanation. Multiple witnesses reporting identical details, encounters leaving physical evidence, and sightings by people with no prior knowledge of local folklore present genuine puzzles for researchers. Fast forward to today, and Baba Yaga has become something her creators never could have imagined. A pop culture icon. From horror movies to video games to TikTok memes, this ancient Slavic witch has gone global in a way that would make any modern influencer jealous. Literature has embraced Baba Yaga with enthusiasm. Contemporary authors have reimagined her as everything from a misunderstood anti-hero to a feminist symbol of female power refusing to be tamed by patriarchal society. The character has evolved far beyond her folkloric origins into a complex literary device. Hollywood, naturally, couldn't resist putting its spin on the iron-toothed witch. While most film adaptations focus on her scarier aspects, some recent movies have explored her more nuanced nature. The challenge for filmmakers is capturing her essential contradictions without confusing audiences who expect clear heroes and villains. Video game designers have had a field day with Baba Yaga's character. Her shape-shifting abilities, magical powers, and morally ambiguous nature make her perfect for interactive media. Players can encounter her as boss, ally, or mysterious quest giver, depending on their choices and actions. The modern neo-pagan movement has reclaimed Baba Yaga as a goddess figure representing the wild, untamed feminine divine. Contemporary witches and pagans often invoke her in rituals related to transformation, protection, and accessing hidden wisdom. Whether historically accurate or not, this spiritual revival has given the character new life. Here's something that might blow your mind. Baba Yaga isn't unique. Cultures around the world have developed remarkably similar witch figures, almost as if humanity shares some deep collective memory of iron-toothed old women who test heroes and threaten the unworthy. Japan's Yamauba presents striking parallels to our Slavic witch. This mountain-dwelling crone also has a dual nature, sometimes helping travelers and sometimes harming them. Like Baba Yaga, she possesses supernatural powers and serves as a test for those who encounter her. The similarities are so strong that some scholars wonder if these figures share common ancestral origins. Germanic folklore gives us Berchta, another child-threatening, morally ambiguous witch figure. She punishes the lazy and rewards the industrious, much like Baba Yaga's test-based morality. The fact that these characters developed independently across different cultures suggests something fundamental about human psychology and storytelling. African mythology is rich with shape-shifting, dangerous witches who live on the edges of civilization. These figures often serve similar roles to Baba Yaga, testing moral character, guarding boundaries between worlds, and embodying the dangerous but necessary aspects of wisdom and transformation. Indigenous American traditions include numerous witch-like figures who share key characteristics with Baba Yaga: the ability to transform, control over animals, connection to death and rebirth, and the role as both helper and threat appear across vastly different cultural contexts. So what have we learned about Baba Yaga? That she's far more complex than any simple villain or helper. She represents something fundamental about human nature, our relationship with power, wisdom, death, and transformation. But some mysteries remain unsolved. Perhaps most remarkably, Baba Yaga remains vibrantly alive in the 21st century. In an age of science and technology, people still find meaning in stories about iron-toothed witches who test heroes in chicken-legged huts. What does this say about our deepest needs and fears? Maybe Baba Yaga isn't just an ancient Slavic witch. Maybe she's a mirror reflecting our own capacity for both creation and destruction, helping and harming, wisdom and foolishness. In her iron-toothed grin, we might just be seeing ourselves.